Have you ever wondered why some men seem to effortlessly command respect while others constantly struggle to earn even a fraction of it? This is not about looks, money, or status. It's something deeper, something hidden in plain sight. The truth is, most men live unaware of the subtle emotional patterns that quietly shape every interaction they have with women. They walk through life blindfolded, unaware that the very struggles they face could be eliminated by simply understanding one powerful fact. Women, just like men, have weaknesses, hidden emotional vulnerabilities that most people never recognize. And when you do recognize them, everything changes. This is not about playing games. It's not about manipulation. It's about reclaiming your peace of mind. It's about standing tall in a world that constantly tries to pull you down. Because right now, whether you realize it or not, you might be giving away your power without even noticing. You may have been taught to constantly seek approval, to always be agreeable, to put others on a pedestal. And that's exactly how you lose control. But when you begin to see the unseen, when you start noticing the emotional tendencies that others try to hide, you unlock a rare kind of strength, a quiet confidence, a deep inner power that makes others naturally gravitate toward you. Every man has experienced the frustration of being misunderstood, rejected, or taken for granted. It creates a deep sting, a hidden wound that never fully heals unless addressed. You deserve to live without that weight. You deserve to feel strong, calm, and in control, not just sometimes, but always. And the first step toward that life is awareness. Awareness of the silent forces that shape female behavior. Awareness of the emotional triggers that most people are too distracted or afraid to notice. This awareness gives you freedom. It lets you stop reacting, stop chasing, and start leading from within. What you're about to discover will shift your entire perspective. It will give you clarity where there was once confusion. It will bring calm where there was once chaos. And it will make you realize that most of the power struggles you faced were never really about you at all. They were simply hidden emotional patterns playing out in predictable ways. By the end of this journey, you won't just understand these weaknesses. You'll know exactly how to respond to them. With calmness, with strength, with unshakable composure. Stay with this message, because the more you listen, the more you'll feel something awaken inside you, a quiet certainty, a growing sense of self-respect. You'll realize you never needed to chase, beg, or compromise your worth to gain respect or connection. You'll remember what it feels like to be deeply grounded, completely centered, and fully in charge of your emotions. And that power, it's yours. It always has been. You just needed to see it clearly. And once you do, there's no going back. There is one truth most men overlook, yet it silently dictates the course of their relationships. Many women are addicted to emotional validation. Not because they are weak, but because society has conditioned them to tie their value to how they are perceived. From an early age, the pressure to be liked, to be noticed, to be adored is drilled into them. And this creates a deep hunger, a constant need to be affirmed, reassured, and praised. Once you understand this, you stop taking everything personally. You stop reacting emotionally to mood swings, games, or sudden distance. Because now, you see through it. You see the craving for attention beneath the surface, and instead of being pulled into the emotional chaos, you stay centered. That's your power. The moment you realize that not every reaction deserves your attention, your energy begins to rise. You no longer need to explain yourself, over-justify, or chase approval. You detach, not out of arrogance, but out of clarity. And this detachment shifts everything. When you stop giving away free validation, your presence becomes rare. Your attention becomes valuable. And suddenly, you're no longer the one chasing. You're the one being pursued. Not because you played a trick, but because you became stable in a world full of emotional instability. Women can sense this energy. They feel it in your body language, in your silence, in your unshaken calm. The man who doesn't flinch, doesn't overreact, doesn't rush to please, he becomes the mystery, the magnet, the one they want to figure out. Because he's not trying to be liked. He already respects himself. That alone makes him powerful beyond measure. You must understand the emotional economy. When you constantly give attention to someone who's addicted to it, they begin to feel entitled to it. They don't value it, they expect it. And that's when you lose the upper hand. But when you withdraw, when you give less and observe more, the dynamic shifts. The power returns to you, not in a controlling way, but in a grounded, balanced way. You become the calm in their storm. This isn't about withholding love or becoming cold. It's about leading with presence instead of insecurity. It's about knowing when to lean in and when to lean back. You're not there to fill a void. You're there to share value, if it's earned. And when you live like this, you elevate yourself. Your standards rise. Your energy becomes pure. You stop entertaining chaos because you no longer need emotional crumbs to feel worthy. Let others chase noise. You chase peace. Let others beg for validation. You stand complete in silence. That shift alone is rare, and rare is attractive. Rare is powerful. Rare is what makes them think about you long after you're gone. Because you didn't feed the addiction. You broke the pattern. You stood still while the world kept spinning, and in that stillness you found your edge. There is a hidden fear that often goes unnoticed, yet it quietly shapes how many women interact in relationships. It is the fear of rejection. Beneath the surface confidence, beyond the carefully crafted appearance, lies a deep vulnerability, an anxiety about being dismissed, ignored, or replaced. This fear is not always visible, but it is powerful, and once you recognize it, everything changes. You stop reacting to games designed to provoke. You stop crumbling under pressure to prove yourself. You realize that the person testing your worth is often more afraid of losing you than you ever were of losing them. When you understand this, you stop chasing validation. You stop seeking reassurance. You begin to see through the illusions that once held power over you. That subtle fear of rejection, which hides behind indifference and coldness, becomes clear. You no longer see arrogance, you see insecurity. You no longer see distance, you see protection. And the moment you stop fearing rejection yourself, you unlock something rare, emotional freedom. You are no longer swayed by who stays or who leaves. You become the chooser, the one who decides what energy enters your life and what is left behind. Rejection loses its power over the man who accepts himself fully. He becomes untouchable, not because he is guarded, but because he lives with open confidence. He knows his worth. He does not beg for it to be recognized. He embodies it through his calm, his composure, and his ability to walk away without hesitation. That willingness to let go without anger or desperation creates unspoken power. It speaks louder than words. It sends a message that cannot be ignored. You are not afraid to lose what isn't meant for you. Many women instinctively test men to see how they handle rejection. They want to feel the presence of a man who is unshaken, a man who doesn't panic under pressure, a man who can stand firm, even in the face of distance or coldness. The more calmly you handle these tests, the more magnetic you become. Your silence becomes louder than any argument. Your stillness becomes more commanding than any pursuit. Because you are not reacting, you are observing. You are not pleading, you are choosing. That subtle shift in your energy draws respect without effort. This is the hidden power you've been seeking. It is not about trying harder or proving anything. It is about knowing who you are and standing firm in that knowledge. When you become the man who does not fear rejection, you naturally attract everything meant for you. And what isn't meant for you simply falls away, without struggle or pain. That's when you realize you've already won. Not because you conquered someone else, but because you mastered yourself. And in mastering yourself, you master every room you walk into, every connection you build, and every challenge you face. This is how quiet confidence becomes your greatest weapon. There is another hidden vulnerability that many overlook, yet it influences countless choices and behaviors. It is the quiet fear surrounding appearance and aging. Beneath the surface, many women carry an unspoken anxiety about losing their beauty, their charm, and the attention they have become accustomed to receiving. This is not vanity. It is a deep-rooted emotional insecurity, reinforced by the constant pressure to look perfect, to stay youthful, to remain desirable in a world obsessed with appearances. And this truth offers a profound shift in how you carry yourself. Because when you stop being blinded by surface-level beauty, you unlock a deeper sense of clarity and strength. Many men unknowingly fall into the trap of worshiping beauty. They place all their focus on looks, and in doing so, they surrender their power. They become easily swayed by charm, appearances, and external allure. But the man who can see beyond that, who values character over cosmetics, becomes rare. He becomes the man who cannot be easily seduced by what is fleeting. And that man naturally stands out. He commands respect because he is not controlled by superficial desires. His eyes are clear, his mind is steady. He values what others overlook: integrity, authenticity, depth. There is an unspoken truth that beauty fades with time. No one can escape it. But the man who is not attached to youth or physical appearance becomes untouchable. He does not chase temporary pleasures. He invests his energy in what endures: growth, wisdom, purpose. This mindset creates a quiet, magnetic presence that cannot be replicated by those chasing after surface-level validation. You become different because you are not playing the same game. The more you value yourself, the less you tolerate shallow connections. You no longer feel impressed by looks alone. You begin to search for qualities that nourish your soul, not just your eyes. You start seeking depth, kindness, emotional maturity, and shared values. And as you do, your standards naturally rise. Your focus sharpens. You attract relationships that are rooted in respect, not appearances. This shift is powerful because it also frees you from your own insecurities. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop measuring your worth based on external factors. You realize that real power comes from within, from your ability to stay centered, focused, emotionally grounded, no matter who enters or leaves your life. That unshakable sense of self becomes your greatest asset. You no longer chase beauty. You embody it in your actions, your mindset, and your presence. And when you live this way, you no longer fear loss. You no longer fear rejection. You know that what is meant for you will always remain, and what isn't meant for you will fall away effortlessly. That is the freedom most people never experience. The freedom that comes from valuing what truly matters and refusing to be swayed by anything less. This is where real power begins, and it's already within your reach. There is a force that shapes interactions far more than most realize. It is emotional impulsiveness. The unpredictable waves of mood swings, the sudden shifts in energy, the dramatic reactions that seem to appear from nowhere. All of these are rooted in emotional impulsiveness. Many women struggle with this without fully understanding it themselves. It can lead to overreactions, sudden anger, or rapid changes in behavior. And most men, unaware of this hidden force, get swept away by it. They try to fix it, argue against it, or worse, react with their own emotional outbursts. But the man who remains calm in the face of emotional chaos becomes the rarest presence in the room. He becomes untouchable. When you understand that emotional impulsiveness is not personal, everything begins to shift. You stop reacting to every sudden mood change. You stop personalizing every emotional storm. Instead, you remain still, like an anchor in rough waters. That stillness is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. It sends a message louder than words. Your emotions are yours to control, and nothing outside of you can shake that foundation. Emotional impulsiveness often seeks to pull others into its storm. It wants to create reactions, to provoke responses, to drag others into its intensity. But when you refuse to participate, you dissolve its power over you. You remain unbothered, composed, and quietly strong. That reaction, or lack of it, builds an unspoken respect. You're no longer playing the same game. You're standing above it, watching from a higher place of understanding. This calmness is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending to be unaffected. It's about mastering yourself. It's about allowing emotions to rise and fall without letting them dictate your actions. You become the observer, not the participant. You recognize that many people, including women, are driven by emotions in the moment, but you are driven by purpose, clarity, and inner peace. That distinction sets you apart in every interaction. The more you practice this emotional discipline, the stronger it becomes. Situations that once triggered you no longer hold the same weight. Words that once hurt now pass through you without leaving a mark. You no longer react to every mood, every insult, every emotional wave. You hold your ground, and in doing so, you reclaim your power over yourself and your environment. This is where deep respect is born, not through force, not through aggression, but through quiet mastery. You teach others, without words, that emotional impulsiveness cannot control you. You lead by example. And the deeper you go into this practice, the more naturally it flows from you. You become immune to chaos because you have become the calm itself. That presence, steady and grounded, becomes magnetic. It draws others in, not because you chase them, but because you stand where few are willing to stand, in the stillness, in the quiet, in complete control of yourself. This is where your true strength lives, waiting for you to claim it fully. Attention is the most valuable currency in any relationship. Many people crave it, but few understand its true power. For many women, attention is not simply something they enjoy. It becomes a quiet obsession. The need to be seen, noticed, and admired can grow into a dependency that controls their actions. This hunger for attention often hides behind charm, subtle glances, and playful words, but its presence is undeniable, and most men fall directly into this trap. They give attention freely, constantly, and without hesitation, thinking it will earn them favor. But in reality, This drains their value and weakens their position. The man who masters his attention masters everything. When you pull back your attention, you instantly create an emotional shift. You awaken curiosity, stir desire, and spark respect. This is not about being distant for the sake of ego. It's about protecting your most valuable resource, your focus. Every time you withdraw your attention from someone who depends on it, you create space for their mind to fill. That space is powerful. It forces them to think, reflect, and wonder about your absence. Many women, driven by this hidden dependency on attention, are drawn toward those who seem slightly out of reach. It is the mystery that attracts them, not constant availability. The harder you are to impress, the more valuable your presence becomes. Your absence speaks louder than constant words. Your silence creates more impact than endless conversations. You become the rare man who does not need to chase, and in that rarity you become magnetic. To live this truth requires discipline. It means learning to resist the urge to flood others with validation. It means valuing yourself enough to give your attention only to those who truly earn it. It means embracing the discomfort of silence and using it to your advantage. You are not here to be another source of easy approval. You are here to lead your life with purpose and power. And in doing so, you naturally draw others towards you without force, without effort. The moment you stop giving away your attention freely is the moment everything changes. You start noticing who truly values you for who you are, not for the attention you provide. You begin to attract deeper, more meaningful connections. You rise above shallow exchanges and meaningless interactions. You stand in your power, fully aware that your attention is a gift, not a guarantee. There is freedom in this mindset. You no longer chase fleeting validation. You no longer feel the need to be constantly seen or heard. You recognize your value with or without external approval, and that quiet confidence radiates through everything you do. You move through life calmly, purposefully, untouched by the desperation that surrounds you. You choose where your energy flows. You decide who receives your focus. And in that choice, you reclaim control over your life, your emotions, and every connection you create. This is the strength that lasts. There is a quiet fear that shapes far more behavior than most realize. It is the fear of loneliness. Hidden beneath confidence, independence, and even defiance, this fear lingers, quietly influencing decisions and emotions. Many women carry this fear deeply, though few ever speak of it openly. It drives attachments, fuels certain behaviors, and keeps people locked in cycles they cannot explain. Understanding this fear grants you an immediate advantage, not to exploit it, but to transcend the games that it creates. When you no longer fear being alone, you unlock a power that instantly sets you apart. Most people seek connection from a place of fear. They are terrified of solitude. They chase relationships, friendships, and attention to avoid facing themselves in silence. They confuse loneliness with emptiness, never realizing that true strength is forged in solitude. When you embrace being alone, you instantly stand apart from the crowd. You no longer react from desperation. You no longer tolerate disrespect out of fear of isolation. You choose relationships from a place of fullness, not lack, and that choice makes all the difference. When you are comfortable alone, you no longer beg for company. You no longer settle for less than what you deserve. You become selective, discerning, and deeply grounded. This is where respect begins. People sense when you are not afraid of walking away. They feel it in your presence. It changes the way they approach you. It shifts the balance of every interaction. Suddenly, you are no longer the one chasing. You are the one being pursued, not because you demand it, but because you are content whether they stay or leave. Solitude is not emptiness. It is power. It is peace. It is the ability to sit with your thoughts, to face your weaknesses, and to grow in silence. It is where your confidence is born. When you stop fearing solitude, you become unstoppable. You are no longer bound by the emotional traps that keep others stuck. You become calm, clear, and deliberate in your choices. You walk away when necessary. You stay only when it aligns with your values. That unshakable foundation is rare, and people are drawn to it instinctively. Many women feel this fear deeply, even if they never admit it. It is this hidden fear that often keeps them attached to those who provide emotional highs and lows. But when they encounter someone who does not fear solitude, who thrives in it, they are naturally intrigued. You become different, mysterious, and magnetic, not because of words or actions, but because of your quiet self-sufficiency. You no longer need anyone to complete you. You are whole. You are enough. And from this place of strength, every connection you build becomes stronger, more respectful, and more honest. You no longer tolerate half-hearted attention or temporary affection. You become a beacon of calm certainty. This is the quiet power of embracing solitude. It changes everything, and it always begins within. There is a hidden struggle that silently shapes countless lives. It is the relentless habit of comparison. Many women, often without even realizing it, fall into this exhausting trap, measuring themselves against others, constantly questioning their worth based on someone else's life, beauty, or achievements. This quiet war within creates insecurity, anxiety, and emotional imbalance. And most men get unknowingly pulled into it. They get caught up in the same superficial comparisons or dragged into silent competitions they never asked to join. But the man who rises above this trap, who refuses to participate in comparison games, immediately sets himself apart. He becomes untouchable in a world addicted to validation. When you stop comparing yourself to others, you unlock a peace that few ever experience. You begin to value your own path, your own pace, your own journey. You no longer feel rushed or pressured by the lives others display. You stop chasing illusions and you start building something real, something lasting. This shift creates an aura around you. People sense when you are no longer competing. They feel your calmness, your centeredness, your quiet confidence. And this draws respect naturally, without force. Comparison weakens relationships. It creates hidden resentment, silent tension, and unnecessary pressure. Many women trapped in this cycle of comparison unconsciously project it onto others, expecting perfection, testing limits, and challenging self-esteem. But the man who does not waver, who stands firm in his own worth, becomes immune to this. He does not bend to unrealistic expectations. He does not get drawn into arguments rooted in insecurity. He simply remains steady, unshaken by external noise. You reclaim your power the moment you decide to stop measuring yourself against anyone else. You no longer chase status. You no longer seek permission to feel worthy. You realize that your value has never depended on anyone else's opinion or approval. It has always existed within you, waiting to be fully embraced. That realization changes how you speak, how you move, how you interact. You no longer over-explain or over-prove yourself. You operate from quiet certainty. This shift brings freedom. You become present in your life. You engage with people for who they are, not what they represent in comparison to others. You stop seeing relationships as a competition or a performance. You start seeing them as a choice, your choice. You stop allowing comparison to dictate your emotions. You reclaim control over your mind, your heart, and your direction. Those who live trapped by comparison will often test your stability, intentionally or not. But you, standing calm, unfazed, and confident, reflect a new standard. You show through your actions that peace is more valuable than approval. You demonstrate that self-respect is stronger than comparison, and slowly others either rise to meet you or fall away. Either way, you remain steady because you have found your truth. You have chosen yourself. And that choice is what keeps your power untouchable, no matter who stands beside you or watches from afar. There is a silent prison many fall into without realizing it, the need to control outcomes. It is a subtle, relentless grip that ties the mind and heart to specific results, expectations, and desires. This attachment creates anxiety, frustration, and disappointment, especially when things don't go as planned. Many women, influenced by this need, invest their emotional energy heavily in trying to shape situations or relationships to fit their hopes. This need to control becomes a weakness when met with resistance or uncertainty. Recognizing this is your gateway to freedom and power. When you detach from the need to control, you step into a space of clarity and calm. You begin to understand that true power lies not in forcing outcomes, but in mastering yourself. You stop wasting energy trying to bend the world to your will and start focusing on what you can control: your mindset, your actions, your responses. This shift brings peace. It allows you to move through life with a steady confidence that isn't shaken by unexpected turns or challenges. The man who lets go of outcome attachment becomes a force of nature. He is not rigid or desperate. He is adaptable, flexible, and grounded. He understands that life is a series of moments, each unpredictable and full of opportunity. This mindset dissolves fear and desperation, replacing them with calmness and intention. Others sense this calm and are drawn to it naturally. You become the person others want to be around because you embody stability in a chaotic world. When you release attachment to specific outcomes, you no longer need to react emotionally to every twist and turn. You stop chasing approval or worrying about acceptance. Instead, you act from purpose and integrity. This is not about indifference or apathy. It is about strength and wisdom. You create space for life to unfold naturally, trusting that what is meant for you will come and what isn't will fall away. This trust is magnetic. It radiates confidence and assurance that cannot be faked or forced. Many people live their lives reacting to fear of loss or disappointment. They overthink every decision and cling tightly to expectations. This energy creates resistance and blocks growth. But you, standing firmly in detachment, create flow. You invite abundance. You move with life, not against it. Your presence calms storms, softens tensions, and invites deeper connection. This is the subtle art of emotional mastery, the ultimate advantage. Detaching from outcomes also strengthens your boundaries. You learn when to say no without guilt, when to walk away without regret, and when to hold firm without compromise. Your emotional independence becomes unbreakable. This sends a clear message. Your peace is non-negotiable. You are not here to be anyone's plan B or emotional crutch. You are here to lead your life with dignity and purpose. That unwavering stance commands respect without words. It transforms interactions and creates space for authentic, lasting relationships built on mutual respect and freedom. This freedom from outcome attachment is a quiet revolution inside you. It reshapes your entire approach to life and connection. It frees you from invisible chains and hands you the keys to true power. When you live like this, you no longer fear uncertainty or change. You welcome them as part of your growth, and in that welcome you find your ultimate strength. There is a subtle craving that many experience without openly admitting it, a need for emotional drama. It is the desire to feel alive through intense highs and lows, through chaos and conflict, through passion and turmoil. This craving often manifests as seeking excitement in emotional storms rather than calm waters. Many women caught in this pattern unconsciously create or stay in turbulent relationships because the drama fills a void, masking deeper insecurities. This need for emotional drama can disrupt peace, cloud judgment, and drain energy. Understanding this gives you the key to shift the entire dynamic. When you recognize emotional drama as a craving rather than reality, you stop feeding into it. You stop reacting impulsively to every provocation or flare-up. You realize that responding with calmness and restraint is not weakness, but extraordinary strength. The man who refuses to be dragged into chaos becomes a steady force. He holds space without judgment, remaining balanced no matter how intense the emotional storm. This stillness disarms drama. It diffuses tension. It invites stability and respect. Emotional drama thrives on reaction, on being noticed, on stirring conflict, on provoking responses. It needs an audience to survive. When you remove your emotional fuel, when you refuse to be reactive, the drama loses its power. It quiets. It becomes less frequent. The more you embody this calm, the more magnetic you become. People, including women prone to drama, sense this difference immediately. They are drawn to the man who can remain composed because he is rare and strong. He does not play their game, but instead leads with emotional mastery. This mastery requires practice and commitment. It means choosing to respond rather than react. It means deciding not to engage with every emotional trigger, but to observe, process, and act from a grounded place. It means understanding that your peace is more valuable than winning an argument or proving a point. This approach transforms your relationships. It creates a foundation where respect replaces chaos, where trust replaces suspicion, and where connection replaces conflict. When emotional drama loses its grip, clarity emerges. You see people and situations as they truly are, not through the lens of upheaval. You make decisions based on reason and values, not fleeting emotions. You become a beacon of calm in a world often ruled by unpredictability. That calm draws others closer. It invites deeper, more authentic interactions. It creates space for real growth, both in yourself and in your relationships. This does not mean tolerating toxicity or ignoring red flags. It means responding to emotional turbulence with strength, not fear. It means standing firm in your boundaries and values while remaining compassionate and understanding. This balance is what makes you powerful. You no longer feed the fire of emotional drama. Instead, you extinguish it with your presence. And in doing so, you claim your highest form of influence and respect. This is emotional mastery in action, the ultimate upper hand in every relationship you build. There is an often unseen vulnerability tied to the deep need for approval and acceptance. Many women, driven by this need, shape their actions, words, and choices to please others, sometimes at the cost of their own happiness and authenticity. This craving for approval can create invisible chains, binding them to others' expectations and judgments. For men, falling into the trap of constantly seeking approval from women weakens their foundation. They lose their sense of self and surrender their power. But the man who frees himself from this need immediately transforms his presence and influence. When you stop needing approval, you step into a new realm of confidence. You no longer live to please others or to fit into someone else's mold. You become a man who stands firm in his truth, values, and identity. This strength is magnetic because it signals that you are whole and complete without external validation. You move through life with an unshakable certainty that attracts respect naturally. Approval becomes irrelevant because you no longer require it to feel worthy or secure. The need for approval fuels insecurity and hesitation. It causes people to second-guess themselves and bend to external pressures. Many women feel this pressure to perform and please, which often leads to inner conflict and emotional exhaustion. But the man who does not feed into this dynamic becomes a beacon of stability. He models self-acceptance and teaches others silently that their approval is a choice, not a requirement.
This shift changes the power balance instantly.
Living free from the need for approval means making choices aligned with your values, regardless of how others react. It means speaking your truth without fear of rejection or judgment. It means embracing discomfort and standing tall when opinions clash with your integrity. This courage to be authentic builds deep respect, not only from others but from yourself. You no longer sacrifice your peace to win approval. You become the standard others aspire to meet. This freedom reshapes relationships fundamentally. People sense when you are genuine and grounded. They are drawn to your authenticity because it creates a safe space for them to be real as well. You no longer attract those who seek to manipulate or control through approval. Instead, you build connections based on mutual respect and honesty. This is the foundation of lasting influence. The man who releases the need for approval lives beyond the limits of fear and doubt. He navigates social dynamics with clarity and calmness, unshaken by criticism or praise. This emotional independence is a rare gift, one that commands respect without demand. It allows you to engage with the world on your terms, free and fully alive. And that freedom is the ultimate power, the true upper hand in any relationship or challenge you face. It is yours to claim, starting now. There is a fragile core within many people that yearns for security and certainty, a deep desire to feel safe in an unpredictable world. For many women, this manifests as a need for emotional reassurance, consistency, and predictability in relationships. This craving for safety can sometimes lead to hesitation, anxiety, or dependency, creating vulnerability that is often overlooked. Recognizing this need opens the door to understanding how to navigate connections with clarity and strength. When you grasp this, you gain a powerful advantage not to manipulate, but to lead with empathy and confidence. The man who embodies emotional security becomes an unshakable presence. He does not waver with every mood or circumstance. His calmness offers a refuge in a chaotic world. He provides steadiness without being controlling or rigid. This balance creates trust naturally. Others sense safety around him, not because he promises perfection, but because he is consistent in his actions, values, and emotional state. This consistency builds respect that goes far deeper than surface attraction. Many struggle to offer this kind of security because they themselves are unsettled or uncertain. They react impulsively, create drama, or become unpredictable, which only feeds anxiety in others. But when you remain grounded, emotionally available yet steady, you become rare. You no longer trigger fears or insecurities. Instead, you soothe them. This calming influence draws people in, not through pressure or persuasion, but through the quiet strength of presence. Providing emotional security does not mean losing yourself or giving in to every demand. It means holding your boundaries firmly while being open and understanding. It means showing up consistently, speaking honestly, and acting with integrity. This combination sends a clear message. You are reliable, trustworthy, and strong enough to handle whatever comes your way. That message resonates deeply, creating connections that are built to last. When you operate from this place of emotional stability, you no longer feel the need to prove yourself or react defensively. You meet challenges with calm clarity. You navigate conflicts without escalating tension. You listen without judgment and respond with patience. This approach dissolves chaos before it begins and cultivates respect in its place. You become the steady anchor others rely on, even when storms rage around you. This strength is not often spoken about, yet it is foundational. Emotional security is the soil where trust, intimacy, and respect grow. It is what transforms casual interactions into meaningful relationships. It allows both parties to be vulnerable without fear and to build something real and lasting. When you embody this quality, you shift the dynamic from uncertainty to assurance, from doubt to faith. Your power lies not in control or dominance, but in the ability to create safety within yourself and for those around you. That safety is magnetic. It invites connection without desperation. It commands respect without demand. This is the silent strength that gives you the upper hand, the unbreakable foundation upon which every meaningful relationship is built. This power is yours to own, and with it, you become truly unstoppable. There is a silent, often overlooked vulnerability that lies in the struggle to set clear boundaries. Many women wrestle with this challenge, balancing kindness with firmness, love with self-protection. This difficulty in establishing limits often leads to emotional exhaustion, resentment, and a loss of respect. Without clear boundaries, relationships become unbalanced, leaving one person giving endlessly while the other takes without consideration. Recognizing this struggle reveals an essential insight. Boundaries are not barriers, but bridges to respect, trust, and genuine connection. Understanding this is your key to mastering influence and maintaining your power. The man who sets and holds boundaries firmly commands respect effortlessly. He understands that boundaries are expressions of self-worth, not selfishness. He communicates limits clearly and calmly, without aggression or apology. This clarity provides structure in relationships, allowing space for honesty and mutual respect to flourish. Others sense this strength immediately. It creates a sense of safety and order that invites trust rather than fear. Struggling to set boundaries often stems from a fear of rejection or conflict. Many try to avoid confrontation, fearing loss or disapproval. Yet this avoidance only leads to deeper frustration and invisible resentment. It gives others permission to overstep, eroding respect over time. But the man who embraces boundary setting embraces courage. He chooses peace over chaos, integrity over convenience. This courageous choice establishes a new standard, one where respect is earned and maintained, not demanded or compromised. Firm boundaries also protect your emotional energy. They keep you from being drained by unreasonable demands or toxic dynamics. When you guard your space wisely, you preserve your strength, focus, and clarity. This preservation is not passive but active power, the power to choose where your energy flows and with whom you share it. It's a statement that your well-being matters, that you value yourself enough to say no when necessary. This strength is magnetic because it reflects self-respect and authenticity. People are drawn to those who know their limits because it signals stability and maturity. It removes uncertainty and guesswork, creating an environment where genuine connection can thrive. Boundaries allow for real intimacy because they encourage honesty and respect rather than manipulation and confusion. You do not have to be harsh or cold to set boundaries. True strength lies in balancing compassion with firmness, empathy with clarity. You can hold your limits while remaining open and kind. This balance transforms relationships from draining obligations into empowering partnerships. It teaches others how to treat you, shaping interactions without the need for confrontation. When you master boundaries, you take control of your life and relationships. You stand tall without apology. You engage fully, yet protect deeply. This mastery builds resilience and respect that cannot be shaken by external pressures or challenges. It is a foundation for lasting influence and authentic connection. Boundaries are your shield and your invitation, a powerful declaration that you honor yourself and expect the same from everyone around you. Claim this strength and watch how your presence transforms every space you enter. There is a subtle weakness that often goes unnoticed but quietly undermines many relationships: the inability to handle rejection with grace. For many women, rejection stings deeply, stirring feelings of inadequacy, frustration, and emotional pain. This response is natural, but when it becomes overwhelming or prolonged, it creates vulnerability. It influences decisions, behaviors, and how they engage with others. For men, understanding this emotional sensitivity is crucial, not to exploit, but to navigate connections with confidence and compassion. When you master the art of rejection, you gain a powerful edge that few possess. The man who handles rejection calmly and without desperation shows profound strength. He understands that rejection is not a reflection of his worth, but a natural part of life's flow. This perspective frees him from the trap of neediness and insecurity. Instead of reacting with anger, sadness, or pleading, he accepts it with quiet dignity. This acceptance creates space for growth and resilience. Others notice this calm response. It signals self-respect and emotional maturity, qualities that are deeply magnetic. Many people, including women, fear rejection so intensely that they avoid risk, suppress honesty, or cling to unhealthy attachments. This fear drives much of the anxiety and emotional turmoil in relationships. But when you release this fear, you reclaim control. You no longer base your happiness on acceptance or approval. You understand that rejection, while uncomfortable, is simply feedback, a guide pointing you toward better alignment, not failure. Rejection handled well builds resilience. It teaches you to separate your identity from others' opinions. It strengthens your emotional core. You become less reactive and more reflective, choosing your responses rather than being controlled by hurt feelings. This emotional independence transforms how you engage with the world. You take risks without fear, knowing that rejection does not diminish your value or potential. This mindset shifts the dynamic in relationships. When you do not fear rejection, you become less clingy, less desperate, and more composed. You create space for genuine connection because you engage from a place of strength, not need. People sense this difference. It changes how they treat you and how they feel around you. Your confidence invites respect and honest interaction. Handling rejection with grace also protects your peace. It prevents emotional spirals and reduces unnecessary suffering. You learn to detach from outcomes without detaching from yourself. This balance is rare and powerful. It shows that you are whole, regardless of external acceptance. This wholeness becomes your anchor, your source of unwavering strength. The ability to face rejection without losing your center is a silent superpower. It frees you to pursue your goals and desires without hesitation. It allows you to connect deeply without fear. It creates space for authentic relationships rooted in mutual respect and understanding. When you embody this strength, rejection becomes not a weakness, but a stepping stone, an opportunity to grow, evolve, and elevate your life beyond limitations. This mastery is yours to claim, and with it, you become unstoppable. There is an invisible trap that entangles many, the tendency toward emotional dependency. It is a subtle yet powerful weakness, where feelings of self-worth become tied to another's presence, attention, or approval. This dependency can create desperation, jealousy, and a loss of personal freedom. Many women struggle with this in silence, often unaware of how deeply it controls their emotions and choices. For the man who understands this dynamic, there lies an extraordinary opportunity, not to exploit vulnerability, but to rise above it with strength and self-mastery. When you are free from emotional dependency, you hold the ultimate power. Your sense of value does not fluctuate based on someone else's actions or moods. You are whole, complete, and grounded in your own identity. This independence is magnetic because it shows that you are not a source of neediness or uncertainty. Instead, you become a pillar of strength, steady and reliable, attracting respect effortlessly. Emotional dependency clouds judgment and drains energy. It creates cycles of seeking reassurance and reacting to perceived threats. Many women, caught in this cycle, unknowingly test boundaries, provoke conflicts, or cling too tightly. But the man who is emotionally independent does not get pulled into these patterns. He remains calm and clear, choosing responses that maintain his integrity and peace. This emotional discipline sets a new tone, one where respect and stability replace chaos and insecurity. Breaking free from emotional dependency requires inner work and commitment. It means learning to find satisfaction within yourself rather than outside validation. It means embracing solitude without fear and nurturing your own passions and purpose. This shift transforms your relationships. Instead of needing others to complete you, you choose to share your completeness. This choice creates a foundation for authentic connection, built on mutual respect rather than need. Emotional independence also means maintaining healthy boundaries. You protect your energy and time, refusing to engage in drama or manipulative dynamics. This protection is not about shutting others out, but about valuing yourself enough to avoid emotional depletion. You create space for genuine interactions where both parties bring their whole selves freely, without pressure or coercion. This strength redefines attraction. People are drawn to those who stand tall in their emotional sovereignty. They feel safety and security, knowing they are engaging with someone who is centered and balanced. This connection is deeper and more meaningful because it is based on choice, not compulsion. It frees both sides to grow individually and together. Emotional independence is the foundation for lasting power in relationships and in life. It frees you from fear, insecurity, and codependency. It allows you to engage fully without losing yourself. When you embody this strength, you radiate confidence and calmness that cannot be shaken by external forces. You become truly unstoppable, not because you control others, but because you master yourself. This mastery is the ultimate upper hand, the silent strength that elevates every connection and every moment of your life. Claim it now. There is a hidden fragility that often surfaces in moments of uncertainty, the tendency to seek constant reassurance. Many women, even when appearing confident, quietly crave affirmations that they are loved, valued, and desired. This craving creates vulnerability because it places their emotional stability in the hands of others. It can lead to overthinking, anxiety, and a constant need for validation. For the man who recognizes this dynamic, understanding it becomes a source of profound strength, not to exploit, but to cultivate deeper, more balanced connections. When you do not need constant reassurance, you become a source of calm and certainty. Your emotional foundation rests on self-trust rather than external approval. This stability is compelling because it signals authenticity and security. People, including women, instinctively respect those who do not waver under pressure or seek endless validation. You project a quiet confidence that does not demand but naturally commands attention and respect. Seeking reassurance often comes from fear, the fear of abandonment, rejection, or inadequacy. This fear drives behaviors that can undermine relationships, such as excessive questioning, jealousy, or emotional withdrawal. But the man who masters his need for reassurance transcends these fears. He trusts himself fully. He understands that his worth is inherent and not dependent on others' words or actions. This self-trust frees him to engage fully and fearlessly. When you embody this self-trust, you reduce drama and confusion in relationships. You do not seek to control or manipulate through insecurity. Instead, you respond with clarity and calm. This emotional steadiness creates a safe space where others can relax, be honest, and show their true selves. It shifts interactions from fragile and reactive to strong and genuine. The power of not needing reassurance extends beyond relationships. It influences every area of life where doubt might otherwise creep in. When you believe in yourself without question, you make decisions confidently. You pursue goals relentlessly. You face challenges without hesitation. This unwavering belief becomes a force that propels you forward, inspiring others to follow your lead. Learning to release the need for constant reassurance requires deep inner work. It demands you confront and heal insecurities, build resilience, and nurture your self-worth daily. It asks you to stand firm in moments of doubt and silence the inner critic that demands proof of your value. This process is not easy, but it is transformative. It strengthens your character and expands your emotional capacity. This transformation changes how others perceive and relate to you. People are drawn to those who carry themselves with unshakable self-trust. They feel inspired and secure in their presence. This dynamic fosters respect, admiration, and authentic connection. You no longer attract those who feed off insecurity, but those who honor strength and integrity. The freedom from needing constant reassurance is a profound form of emotional independence. It anchors you in your power and creates space for genuine, fearless connection. This mastery elevates every interaction and enriches every aspect of your life. Embrace this strength fully, and you become an unstoppable force, rooted, resilient, and irresistibly magnetic. There is an often unseen struggle that quietly drains strength, the tendency to overthink every interaction and decision. Many women find themselves trapped in endless loops of analysis, second-guessing their choices, and replaying conversations in their minds. This mental exhaustion breeds doubt and insecurity, weakening their emotional resilience. Recognizing this pattern is crucial for anyone seeking to maintain power and clarity in relationships. When you rise above overthinking, you reclaim your peace and become decisively magnetic. The man who escapes the trap of overthinking stands firmly grounded in the present moment. He trusts his instincts and makes decisions with clarity without becoming paralyzed by what-ifs or imagined outcomes. This ability to act decisively shows confidence, which naturally draws respect. People feel assured in his presence because he projects certainty instead of hesitation. This clarity is a silent force that influences every interaction. Overthinking is often driven by fear, the fear of making mistakes, being judged, or facing rejection. It causes the mind to spiral, creating scenarios that rarely match reality. This mental noise clouds judgment and slows action, allowing insecurity to grow. But when you break free from this pattern, you access a profound mental freedom. You become present, focused, and calm. Your mind becomes a tool, not a tyrant. Acting without overthinking does not mean recklessness or impulsivity. It means embracing trust in yourself and the process. It means knowing that no decision is perfect, and that mistakes are opportunities for growth, not proof of failure. This mindset opens doors rather than closing them, allowing you to move forward confidently, even amid uncertainty. When you master the art of decisive action, you set a new tone in your relationships. You communicate clearly, respond authentically, and avoid unnecessary drama created by hesitation or confusion. Others sense this grounded energy and respond with openness and respect. They no longer feel the need to manipulate or test boundaries because your steady presence demands honesty and integrity. This mental clarity also strengthens your personal boundaries. Overthinking often leads to people-pleasing or emotional compromise because you fear conflict or rejection. But when you act decisively, you hold your limits firmly. You choose what aligns with your values and let go of what does not. This empowers you to live authentically and attract those who honor your true self. Escaping overthinking requires commitment and self-awareness. It means learning to quiet the mind through focus and self-trust. It means breaking the habit of seeking certainty in every detail and embracing the fluidity of life. This transformation is not instantaneous, but profoundly liberating. When you embody this mental strength, you become a calm center in a world often ruled by doubt and hesitation. You inspire trust, create space for genuine connection, and lead with unwavering confidence. This clarity is your unseen power, an edge that elevates every relationship and decision. Claim this power now and move forward with a mind clear, a heart steady, and a spirit unbreakable.